Oh, they're dirty. All right, so we talked all about all this on the other day. Talked about warm up, cool down, motivation, overload, consistency, progression, intensity, specificity. Yeah. Individuality, minimize stress, and of course, you got to have safety. And I think that's where we stop. All right. So, physiology of warming up. Hey. Preparing the body physiologically and psychologically. All right. For your physical performance. Used as a preventative measure, believe that proper warm-up will prevent strains and the tearing of muscle fibers from their tendinous attachment. Now, it says warming up, right? How we got to warm up? Excuse me? Run. What about what she's got a hydrocollator pad? Will that work? Why? You have to do it yourself. Well, she did. She went and got the hydrocollator pad, and she. All right, the outside in. Can't come from the outside in. It's got to come from the inside out. What's preventing it from the outside in? And somebody listened the other day. Yes, got a layer of fat. Keeps you warm. And we're going to talk about fat next chapter, about all that fat does. But one of the things is it keeps you warm, but it also keeps you cool. It's an insulator. Okay? So, sort of like an ice chest. If I got an ice chest, a small little ice chest, right? I can put ice in it, right? Put my drinks in, go to the beach. It's nice and hot at the beach, and the ice stays relatively cool. Doesn't melt right away. All right? Well, here's the other thing that you can do with it. You can take that small ice chest and put food in it that's hot, and it'll help keep it warm. All right? So either way, if it's heat or cold, it's going to help try and keep that temperature either above or so that's how it insulates. Okay? So you've got to do it from the inside out. All right, here you got to know about the agonist and the antagonist. You ever hear about that in English class? Who's the agonist? No. The protagonist is protagonist and who? An antagonist. Well, this guy's not. He's not a pro. He's just the antagonist and the agonist. Okay. The antagonist muscles are torn most frequently. Okay. Now, with your, but especially your elbows, all right, and your knees. Okay. You got quads and you got hamstrings. Okay. The quads make your leg extend. So if this is shortening, the hamstrings have to lengthen. Okay? So if I'm not really ready, while this shortens, this doesn't want to release, and now I start to pull it. Okay? The one doing the action or shortening, all right, is the agonist. The other is the antagonist. Their ability to relax rapidly plus the great contractile forces of the agonist muscles added to the momentum of the moving part subject the antagonist to have a sudden severe strain that can result in tearing of the fibers themselves as well as their tendinous attachments. All right, that's all fancy schmancy stuff, right? But boils down to you can strain, you can get a muscle strain. If your muscles are not prepared, if they're not warmed up through your pre-participation activity. Okay? We square? Good. You look like you were lost. Okay? General warm-up. So general warm-up is consistent of jogging. So get out there and do some easy running and some general exercises. All right? Now, back in the old days, you watch those old Army films, and they're doing jumping jacks, and they're doing this, and they're chanting out little things. That's fine. And, it doesn't have to be running, but it's got to be physical activity. Now, how do you know when you're ready? You are sweating. Procedures should mobilize the body for action. Make it supple and free. Okay? So, must be sufficient in duration and intensity to raise the deep tissue temperatures without causing fatigue. Now, we're not going to go run 13 miles to get ready to go run a marathon, obviously. That's a little excessive, right? But running a mile, all of you have the energy inside of you to run a mile and still have the energy to do whatever it is you want to do. All right? So that mile, you come back and you're sweating. Now you've got about 30 minutes that you can have for rest. So now your cardio conditioning, right, settles down, your heart settles down, you're not breathing heavy again. You're ready to go. You're ready to go. So when the athlete is sweating, you have then raised your internal temperatures to a desirable level. So after completing the general exercise or your warm up, okay, to those that have a specific, let's see, after completing the general exercises, progress to those that are specific for events and activities. All right, let's talk about track, okay? We get people coming in here all the time. Oh, my hamstrings, my hammies. Oh, my quads, my quads, my quads, right? Well, who runs track? Boys track. Yeah. Well, we know boys. But what other sports do they participate in? Football. Usually football. Well, probably not baseball because they're playing baseball when they're having a track meet. Huh? But football, right? So how is it that they can go out and play football and essentially they're doing the same thing, right? They're just doing it with pads and a helmet on. How can they do the same thing of running pass routes, defending wide receivers, etc., and not have these muscle strains? Huh? They're doing it consistently. I mean, how many times do we ever think about how many ball games we have, and then how many times do you? I don't remember one this year that we actually had to pull somebody because they said they had a hamstring problem during a football game. Can anybody recall one? I mean, so how can that be that that same kid who can play football, but yet when he goes out to the track, he's having these problems? He still is flexible, huh? All right. So we give you the cards before a ball game. What's on those cards? Got your name. What was that part? What part? The warm-up station. How long do they go out there and warm up? They're about to play about, about 40 to 45 minutes. They go out at like 10, I think 40 minutes. All right, so kickoff's at 7. They go out there at 5:50 and go until 6:30. They're out there for 40 minutes. That's quite a bit of time. And when they come in, has anybody been in here when you handed out their stuff when they come in? They stink, don't they? They stink really bad, smelly. Just from that 40 minutes because now they're what? All right, so let's talk about that track team, okay? What are these kids doing to prepare for track? Are they going out there and taking the time and slowly build? No. They're doing these crazy butt kicks and they're doing these crazy majorette things and little skippity doo dah and oh, that's cute. And but are they sweating? There's the problem. All right, that's the big problem. You've got to come from the inside of your reactor and go out. Okay, so start at a moderate pace. Don't go out there and think, okay, I'm going to go sprint for a mile. No, that's crazy. Start at a moderate pace, and the effects of warm up may last only as long as about 45 minutes. So after 40, if you've got your race in an hour and a half, right? It's not time to start warming up. That'd be crazy. You're not set up. So it only lasts 45 minutes. All right? So that's part of your planning. So if you're with track, it would be helpful if you were to get a track schedule of the track meet, what time each event is, right? The next thing is helpful is because they are athletes, and that means that they're not really paying attention too well, is you know what athlete does what? Get with the coach. Coach, who runs what? And where's our huddle going to be? So at that time, let's say, okay, it's going to, so-and-so's running, it's supposed to run at noon. So at about 11:20, you need to find them and say, you need to warm up, you need to be done in 15 minutes, and etc. You need to be sweating. Now you're helping your team, all right? Because now they're prepared, all right? So in terms of, it only lasts about, that warm-up's only going to last about 45 minutes. Whoa, that went crazy. All right, back to there. All right, cool down. When you get done, this applies to exercise or gradually diminishing your intensity that follows a strenuous workout and permits the return of circulation and various body functions to pre-exercise levels. All right, so pre-exercise, sitting down right now. Is your heart pumping as fast as when you exercise? No. So let me ask you this question. Can you do everything your body can do? Does your body have enough blood to do everything that's possible? Digestion, exercise, the whole 9 yards. All at one time? No. There's not enough blood in the body for that. You'd be like, squash, squash, squash. All right? So it's like a pregame meal. Pregame meal? Is that the most important meal before you go play? No, not really. It's the one before that. The pregame meal is just to make sure you're not hungry. And that pregame meal has also got to be bland enough that you don't get sick or whatever, have to go potty or etc. So, but other than that, that pregame meal, but when you get done with the ball game, it's still in your belly. The stomach has not had blood routed to you to the pregame meal to break it down. Why? Because the muscles needed that blood. All right. Once the muscle needs the blood, and then you're done. Muscle doesn't need the blood anymore, except for getting, oxygen to it at a slower level. But you can't just stop. Okay. So I'm running, let's say 800, right? Isn't there an event called the 800? That's 2 laps around, and you're running like crazy. Where's all the blood going? To your legs. Where else? To your arms. Yes, it's running like crazy. And I'm telling that blood, come to my extremities, help me. Get oxygen so I don't get too tired. So the blood does that. It goes to your arms, it goes to your legs, and it's just filling it full of oxygen. And then all of a sudden you get across the finish line and I quit. I'm done. And that's it. You stop. What do those people do? They fall down, right? They make such a big scene. Right? You all seen this, right? They need to get up, and you'll hear the coach, get up and walk, right? What's that walking doing for them? Huh? Well, what's it? It's putting the blood back where it needs to be. Because you know what? All that blood is just gone to like this arm. Okay? And now you stop. How's it getting out? And this arm, and this arm, and this arm. But it comes right here. All this blood's right here. How's it going to get out of there? The heart pumping, right? But why don't we help it so that way we can be done with that part quicker? Okay? How about if we raise our arms? Can we get the blood out of there quicker? How about if I keep walking? Huh? Well, your arms get tired, so you just bring them down. Go like this. Pump your arms. Okay? Because when I start moving my muscles, the muscles will help push the blood back towards the heart. And then they don't need as much oxygen. So when it comes around the next time, I don't need as much oxygen. Y'all go on to the next cell. Go on to the next cell. Keep going. And the heart says, oh, wow, I got a whole lot more oxygen in my blood up here when it came all the way back. I don't need to beat as fast. I don't need to breathe as hard. And you recover so much quicker. All right? So from 30 seconds to a minute of jogging, followed by 3 to 5 minutes of walking, and it helps prevent the body to necessarily readjust from exercise. Okay? Got that? Cool down is important. Otherwise, all that stuff pools in there, and all that stuff then gets stuck in the cells, and now you're sore. Not a fun thing. All right? So, physiologically, an important reason for cooling down is the blood and muscle lactic acid levels decrease more rapidly during active recovery than passive recovery. All right. Anybody ever use Visine? What's their tagline? Visine gets the red out, right? Have you ever heard that? You've never heard that? Where it says Visine gets the red out. We'll have to YouTube it then, won't we? Have to show you. Yeah, it gets the red out. Do you know how it gets the red out? It squeezes the capillaries. Yeah. So I've got something in my eye. Your eyes are red. Your allergies are messed up right now, huh? So I take this Visine, I put it in there, it feels better because the capillaries get small. Where's the allergen? It's still in the capillaries, right? The capillaries, the little bitty baby blood vessels. So when the Visine wears off, what happens? Your eyes get red again because the allergen just got trapped inside the capillaries while it squeezed the capillaries, right? So here we go with the lactic acid, right? Some of these folks say, hey, we're in track. We got to get what? We're done with track. We got to have what? I need an ice whirlpool, an ice bath. What am I doing to the capillaries? What's inside the capillaries? All that other stuff, that lactic acid and stuff. An active recovery has been shown to help athletes recover quicker than an ice bath. So that's why I don't like it, because active recovery works better. So active recovery keeps the muscle pumps active, which then prevents blood from pooling. That's what this is called. Remember when I was telling her, all this blood stayed in this arm and the other arm and the other leg? It's pooling in the extremities. Got it? Because you'll see that word pooling in the extremities. Okay? So, applies to, did I go the wrong way? I did, didn't I? There she is. That's the picture of me with long hair. Made Miss Bates turn around. No, I don't think I could ever do such. All right. Flexibility. Flexibility is the ability to move a joint or a series of joints smoothly and easily throughout a full range of motion. What's the big key right there? A series of joints. Where might you find quite a bit of series of joints? What? Yeah, a whole bunch of them. Get seven, and then 5, and then I think 7, 12, and then 5, isn't it? 7, 12. You add those all up, that's a whole series. And they go this way, and then they come back this way. See how it goes? It goes here, here, here. All those curves. All right? So flexibility is being able to move smoothly and easily throughout a full range of motion. All right? Lack of flexibility results in uncoordinated or awkward moves and predisposes an athlete to muscle strain. Anybody ever see somebody that runs pretty weird? You know, they don't really get their leg out because their hamstrings are too tight. Yeah, essentially, they run like a girl. I'm only kidding. You know what I'm talking about? That guy who's so bulky and but you give him a baseball and he's like, oh. So it's like a Neanderthal, right? So flexibility is a really important part of being a good athlete. You can have your strength, but you need your flexibility too. All right? Low back pain is frequently associated with tightness of the musculature in the lower spine and also the hamstring muscles. And it's not on here, but also your quad muscles. Okay, why is that? Where the quads connected to? Quads come all the way up and connect up here. Right. What is the hip connected to? Whoop. So if I start getting a pelvic tilt because these get tight and I don't keep my hamstrings loose and I don't keep my quads loose, I start getting a pelvic tilt. Now, all those little spinous processes that were in the back, guess what? They start getting crushed back down together. And then that makes your low back hurt. You'll find that, I mean, how many times have you seen one of those kids come in from basketball and we'll say, well, let's check your flexibility. And we'll put their leg up and they only get like 50 degrees. Yeah. So it's important. Low back pain is frequently associated with tightness of the musculature in the lower spine and also the hamstring muscles, but it's not on there, but your quad muscles are part of it. Good flexibility is essential to successful performance. Anybody ever hear of Nolan Ryan? So 40 years old, could throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Okay? So here it is. All right? Right over there is home plate, and there's the pitcher's mound with the pitcher rubber on it, right? Now check this out. If I am able to get my pitch and I could have to throw from here because I don't have a whole lot of flexibility. All right? So I'm only to here. When I let the ball go, it's here. So it's 60 feet 6 inches, and I let it go at 59 feet 6 inches. Okay? What happens when that ball is released? As soon as the ball is released, what happens to the ball? It slows down. Exactly. Something stays in motion unless acted upon by a different force. And there's two forces acting upon that baseball. Gravity and air. So, the only way that I can make that ball faster, because I have to be here and they have to be there, is if I can make it closer to home plate when I release the ball. Gravity has less time to react upon it. 2, air has less distance to act upon it. So if I work on my flexibility, instead of just throwing from here, if I'm able to really get my leg out and throw from way out here, by the time I follow through, I'll bet instead of 59 feet, I'm at 58 feet. That might mean just the difference of 1 mile an hour. But that 1 mile an hour might be the difference between a AAA minor league contract and a major league contract. That 1 mile an hour. Because all right, flexibility. Tomorrow we will talk about range of motion, which also works with flexibility. And continue into one of the greatest things around